Okay, we're back here on Just for Sport, and Hayley Bour now has a new segment she's going to be doing with me on Just for Sport, and we're calling it Hayley's Comments. That's right, everybody. Hayley, take it away. Where are we going to start? There's so much to talk about.
Wait, okay. Remember the Replacements movie?
Yes, I
Everyone's seen
do.
it, right?
Yes.
About this, like MLB teams that have to switch out their entire roster, they're teeing us up for a remake of the Replacements. What do you think? The Miami Marlins had 18 new players, and my favorite storyline from the MLB right now, Eddie Alvarez. He's a silver medalist from the Olympics, and he made the big leagues. I mean, he kind of looks like Keanu Reeves, so we can like completely do a remake there.
I would love to do a remake there. Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite actors, all the way from when he did Speed to now when he does John Wick. I would love it if we could have maybe Justin Bour can come back and play here, and that could be like a twist to the remake of the Replacements, where he comes in and saves the day and is like the big slugger that just catches fire, and the Miami Marlins win. They bring him back to the team because St. Louis, they've got players that are testing, coaches testing positive now too. I can't believe they're still playing MLB games, and they're all going to need replacements.
Oh man, yeah. I'm hoping for the best for them. Hopefully, no one has it too severe. But you're a bigger Justin fan than I am. I think
I'm a huge Justin fan, and I still have the baseball from back in the
we
day.
got baseball, Jumoke.
Yeah.
All right, so purchasing the XFL. Actually, it's Redbird Capital, but he is going to be a owner of the XFL. He saved the day. What do you think about that?
Not only did he save the day, but I felt like I was watching HBO Ballers, because that's pretty much what The Rock was to me, was a former player who we know the Ballers synopsis. We know what the story is. And I felt like we were seeing it in real life. I was so excited because you could feel the energy when he's on the balcony in Vancouver filming some movie or whatever he's doing. He's talking about the inspiration that he got to purchase the team, and how Vancouver was the first place that he ever played professional football. I love The Rock. I just don't know if the XFL is going to sink like a rock, because it kind of already did. And I just don't know what he's going to do with it. But I'm really excited. As you mentioned, Danny Garcia is a Latina female co-owner. Let's see what she's going to do to bring some life into the league.
That is such a power move. First ever female owner of a professional sports league. I gotta say, if I were a billionaire, which I'm holding out hope that I can make an investment and just strike gold one day and buy a league, that's what I would do. I hope she's sitting with a cigar somewhere, just sitting back, enjoying. She's a business partner of didn't they date too?
Yeah. It's kind of weird too, but
Together, but
let's not mix business and pleasure. That's probably what they said.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so we got to talk about the lack of social distancing on social media. All these influencers having these big rages at their mansions in LA, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, these people who the internet tries to cancel, but when the internet tries to cancel them, they just get more followers, and it just eggs them on. And now the FBI is involved, but setting a horrible example, as if they weren't already just horrible pillars in the community, right? What do you think about that? The FBI getting involved in these crazy influencer parties, body fluids are being swapped, it. God, what's doing?
Yeah. I mean, so the crazy thing is, not only is it bizarre that anybody would have a party in this day and age, because the last thing you want is to be holed up in a room for 14 days if you actually do get COVID. You can't see anybody and do anything. But I kind of feel like Jake Paul is kind of mirroring my life with two kids. We exchange bodily fluids all the time in a different way, because they always try to give me their juice box after they've already drinking a little bit out of it, or in their sippy cup. We're right next to each other. We have Duplo Lego Ragers, and we're playing like hockey on the little step two game and basketball. So I feel like we're kind of the same. It's just the FBI won't be coming after me. They'll just think it's really cute that I can't keep social distance from my kid. In reality, it really is. Actually, I should say kids, so that's a shame. Like, one is, the second one you always forget. Third one, like, whatever. But I just feel like in reality, no, in America, we have a tough time accepting the fact that if we do, because the issue is, right, Jay Williams, I got to give a shout out to him from ESPN. He said it best, that if we can just stay away from each other right now, if you were to give it 2, 3, 4 months, we'd be better off in the long term instead of this stop-start. And you got people like influencers. I'm an influencer on my 2 kids. That's about it. And whoever's listening to Just for Sport. But if you can't find a way, and Hayley, if you can't find a way to stay away from each other, we're just going to keep going back and forth. It's going to be cyclical. And so Jake Paul is going to end up back and forth and back and forth, in and out of being in the FBI's sights as they try to stop these parties. And the rich people, like, it doesn't matter. COVID doesn't know whether you're rich or poor. It's just going to give you a disease.
All right. Here is a depressing topic. Let's talk NCAA football. Well, not depressing. Everyone's kind of on pins and needles.
It's depressing.
No. So UConn, the first major program to announce canceling the 2020 season. Now, they're independent this year, so it's not like this is a big chip that's going to force all the other chips to fall. However, who do you think's next to follow suit?
Okay, 2 clues here. 1, you said independent, right? 2, it makes me think of the Big East, which is now the ACC, and then that circles back to Notre Dame, who, when there was first talk of, oh my gosh, if any of these conferences are only going to play in conference, Notre Dame doesn't have a home. UConn didn't have a home. So it's just like, we're not interested in playing the Huskies. So if you're not in the conference, you have no one to play. I thought for sure that Notre Dame was going to be the next domino to fall before UConn. So I guess it's kind of like they weren't the next domino to fall, but they joined the ACC. So when you said depressing, I was super excited because I knew that outside of UConn, which I feel like I'm disrespecting because I'm going way past the fact that UConn canceled their football season, but Notre Dame basically joined the ACC. And I was like, yes, it's about time, because they have going to be in the exact same position as UConn. And now we see what's happening there. The conferences, is great that the ACC is trying to come up with a schedule, but eventually you can't have athletes on campus playing football if they're not getting paid. They're not professionals. They are students and athletes. If you're not going to have the students on campus, I just don't see how and why you would have the athletes on campus. So for any of the conferences, the Pac-12, the players are, they're having their own pack, and they're saying we're not going to play unless there are certain rules in place that allow us to come back on the campus and be playing football. So UConn is the first domino as an independent. And I think outside of that, the next thing that's going to fall is the conferences are saying we're not going to be playing sports and we're going to have to postpone. But then the beauty of it is spring football will really be spring football. And we're all going to be excited and forget that we had to spend this time, and thank my Jay Williams quote for bringing it back up, that he said, hey, if you can just social distance, wear a mask now, stay at home, maybe we'll be able to get back to life again. And then you'll be back in America as well, Hayley.
We'll see about that. We'll see. Someone said on Twitter, I forget who it was, but someone said that sports are the reward for a well-functioning society, so we got to function, we got to behave.
Yes.
Now, if you are a player who's got a shot at being drafted, you have a future in the league, do you think you even bother looking at transferring? You retain your eligibility. You're still on scholarship. You don't know if the other leagues are going to be, if the other conferences are going to be playing. Do you try and transfer? Will you even find a job somewhere?
To me, it seems bizarre to think that you can just transfer because of something like that. But considering the number of coaches that just leave a program after you win a bowl game, and then you're like, oh, I love this school, and then you leave. Yeah, if you're a UConn player, you're like, peace out. I got to go play football. I've got to get ready, prepare myself for this upcoming season, and to make a living, get into the NFL draft. So I think, yeah, if you want to transfer. The problem is you're going to transfer, and then that team, that school may actually cancel football as well. And then I feel like it does get to be a sticky situation. But I think if you take it one step at a time, yes, I think you transfer.
All right, next topic. This one hits kind of close to home because for both you and me, because I know a lot of our former colleagues and friends have been affected, and a lot of you sports fans are going to be affected as well. So NBC Universal has undergone a massive restructure. They've laid off and restructured a ton of their staff. Now, the fallout is a lot of on-air personalities have been laid off. Their contracts aren't being renewed. Now, we know everything's going digital, but what do you think is going to be the end game here for NBC, and why are they doing this in the middle of a pandemic? Why can't they just hang on and take care of their people?
Yeah, I do find that bizarre in that from a business standpoint. I always figured when sports comes back, then that means that there will be content. They're going to need shows. But I think the trend has been going on for a while. Teams are dictating content now, not networks. ESPN may very well end up being the last network standing, because what's going to happen is teams are going to continue to do the content, and they're going to, because then they can control it, right? If you have the teams doing the pregame shows and the postgame shows and sending out the sound bites that they want to send out, that's what is going to end up happening here. And that's where we're going. So when you look at NBC Universal, in their mind, it's like, okay, why do we need to pay talent if a team also has talent and the team is doing interviews and shows? Then maybe long term, we are just going to take their content and put it on our station. Even if it means that there is some kind of a co-pro where the station and the teams kind of like decide who's going to be the talent. But I think that's where we're going. And realistically, business-wise, it probably, unfortunately, may be the best decision, because then you can control the story, which no matter what business you're in, politics, sports, business, whatever it is, controlling the message is what we all want to do. And we're controlling our message right here on the Props Network.